Welcome to the Lytes Out podcast. This is Chris Lytes Out Lytle, and this is our journey to document the history of mixed martial arts. I have brought with me my friend, the MMA detective Mike Davis, and together we will preserve the history and hear some great stories from the world in the era of the no-holds-barred. Thank you and enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here, JZ Cavelcanti, you've got about 15 names, brother. In my opinion, one of the most underappreciated fighters in about the 2000s, about 2007, 2012. You were probably top 3 in the world at one point, but you never fought in the UFC. And because of that, you don't get on a lot of people's radars. However, your body of work, bro, it's crazy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yes. That's the thing, like a UFC when took over was everything in America was like just focused on the UFC and forgot a lot about Japan, which for me, in a way, the way I am, I enjoy it a little bit, but then for sure hurt a little bit on my career, I like it, my privacy, because I remember going to Japan and people being crazy there. In Brazil, I was also popular, So that kind of works well, but also hurts in the other side.
In the beginnings, you actually represented Luta Livre against Jiu-Jitsu. Why don't we talk about your initial Luta Livre roots? Because one, I've never heard you talk about them. And two, I think Luta Livre, in my opinion, it deserves more respect. Yeah.
If you are here today, doing what you're doing, fighting MMA, it's because of the Luta Livre stand against Jiu-Jitsu. That was the only competition that they had that was good for, to go in the Vale Tudo aspect. Luta Livre, for people who doesn't know, it's another Brazilian grappling style. It's very based on has a lot of influence from catch wrestling, catch as can catch wrestling, so all submissions allowed, leg locks, heel hooks, neck cranks, cervicals, everything was allowed. So it's very good. It was very good for MMA. In Brazil, was very popular. Was a time back in the days, I think was 50s, 60s, that was even more popular than Jiu-Jitsu. And then in the 90s was a time also that was very popular because of the Vale Tudo circuit. And the Luta Livre has a very good base for MMA, for the Vale Tudo. For Vale Tudo was the no-holds-barred, NHB. So that's how I started, because I wanna do MMA. I wanna do, back in the days, Vale Tudo, and that's how I was looking for a gym close to my house that teach Vale Tudo, and I couldn't find it. But they have this place that was Luta Livre and Vale Tudo with Vinicius Corval, and then because Luta Livre is 2 styles. The sports, that was just grappling, and the Vale Tudo, that's the combat sports, with punches, headbutts, everything.
All right, so Corval, Vinicius Corval, he competed in ADCC 2000. You're talking about that,
yes,
Corval, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. That's my coach. That's the guy who taught me how to fight.
And then what about Makun Alakau? Was he also in that same gym?
Yes, he was a student from Corval, and then he became the professor at the school. And he also was my main training partner. This guy, both of those guys were my senseis. Okay,
so Alakau was a multiple-time Luta Livre champion, and
exactly.
They say he was just born too early. Had he been born later, people in the United States, he'd be a household name right now. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. He fought some trials in Brazil for the ADCC as well. He had a very good fight against Reinaldo, was one of the caution guys, I believe it. So it's good, man. And then also, but he came later, and I was younger, and I was a little bit more hungry than him, I have that okay, let's go. I was always on the go. When they invited, I went also to Carlson Gracie. At the time, there was a rivalry, and I got invited to go there. So I was yeah, let's go, man, let's go. It was me and him, because one of the Carson's friends saw us fighting, And then I said, like, man, for sure, let's go. I want to go. I don't care. Luta Livre, Jiu-Jitsu. I want to fight. I want to get better, you know? So that was like kind of my mentality.
All right. So you was Vieira Hugo there as well?
Victor Hugo. That's another Hugo.
Victor Hugo.
No,
yeah,
Victor Hugo. And this guy is like he was very good. He fought at the trials as well. You know, we were a small gym in the suburbs on Rio. It's not like the suburbs here. It's like a more the ghetto area. You know, you were a small gym from a small place. It's still in Rio, but was like a very far from the nice area in Rio. And basically like we stand against everybody. You know, we are small, but we are competitive. We have a couple guys, like 7, 8 guys that was competing a lot and standing still against all the other gyms, bro.
Okay, so your beginnings of Luta Livre, usually I have to ask the other guys like a Draculino, Pedro Sauer, Mario Soares. I have to ask the older guys, Libório, about Paquetá, the videographer. You must have been very young at the time, but you had to have interacted. So do you remember, did you ever meet Paquetá?
Yeah, man, for sure. He's like if I'm here in America today, I think a lot of stuff that I did with him, like the media has a lot of impact on my career. People don't realize what you guys do, what you guys doing now with the history of the MMA, help us to keep this, like the history, you know, keep it strong. And the young generation gonna learn from this. And like for me being young, had the media cover when I was like 16, 17 years old. Any little note on the magazine, on the newspaper, on the website, man, coming from the place that I came from, that was small, was a victory, you know? And like was, oh man, I made it, you know? I remember when I came on the Tatami magazine from Marcelo Alonso, one of those guys, was very popular in Brazil. I was like, yeah, man, that gave me the boost. Okay, I'm on the right path, you know? And Paquetá used to record all the videos, all the competitions. Doesn't matter, wrestling, Luta Livre, Jiu-Jitsu. He would to go all the main ones, main sports. He would record it. And one time after Copa Budokan was the second Copa Budokan that I won. He came to me and Michael, and he said, "Man, if you guys ends up on the Carson's hand, you guys gonna be a world champion." And I say, Master, please just tell me, how do I get there? I don't care. I'm there. And right away he said, okay, Monday at this address, I come and I'm gonna introduce you there. And then I went there, and then that's how I became a part of Carson Gracie style as well, like a jiu-jitsu community.
Right, so Paquetá somehow was friends with the Luta Livre guys and also friends with the jiu-jitsu guys, even when they were at war with each other.
Mm-hmm.
How does he manage that?
Man, because he was recording everything, and he always helped all the fighters, all the Brazilians. Doesn't matter what origin they were from. If somebody from Taekwondo was going to fight in MMA or Vale Tudo back in the days against another foreign, he would take all the videos that he had and would give it to the guys, you know? So everybody has the respect from him. And Paquetá was one of the Carson's best friend, you know? And Carson also, even Carson, I remember Carson telling me, man, he liked more the guys from Luta Livre, not the like, but he kind of respect a lot of the guys from Luta Livre more than did respect guys from Gracie Barra. And that was like a shocking for me, because what he admired was the hard-nosed toughness that we had, you know?
Yeah, the heart. In fact, he even went out of Carlson is one of the most incredible figures in jiu-jitsu and MMA. He sacrificed family relationships game planned against his own family in order to better the sport.
Exactly. he opened up the sport. If it wasn't for him, the sport wouldn't be here. Like MMA, Vale Tudo would be very like a little dojos, could be rich, could be for the wealthy people, but we wouldn't be like the sport we do today, because he taught people how to fight. And back in the days, all the guys were just teaching. They had the idea that was like a secret from not just for the family, but they want to keep just for them, and the Gracie family. I don't know if that would happen. I think just would take longer because there were other schools, other jiu-jitsu schools in Brazil as well, for other people, I don't know if it would get this big, but would still alive.
Yeah. So you and I met years ago. You for sure don't remember, but I remember one time you told me you almost fought when you were 17. I think it was, if I had to do the math properly, it was at Heroes 2, June 30th, 2001. Andre Bispo, you were either going to fill in for him or fight him. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I was going to fight. At first I was going to fight. And then he came back from another country. And he was one of the Carson's guys as well.
Yeah.
But I was underage. And then the lawyer said, man, Carson, come on. I can't do this, And Carson, was the time Brazil was trying to do everything right, because we had to pass with the Vale Tudo that was bad. And then he was like, okay, let's make this right. And then Carson, no, here's my guy, let's go. And then,
he's ready. He's ready.
And then I said, no, okay. And then this guy, Jacão, that was his nickname, he came back and they put him. So the day before we traveled to the place, Carson called at home, at my house. I don't know. Luckily, I was at home. He called me, and I said, Carson never called me, especially back in the days. And I said, hey, Michel, are you ready? Tomorrow, at this time, we're going to travel. You're going to fight. Jacão is hurt. And I said, all right. What time? 11? Okay, I'm going to be there. And then I went there. What happened was Jacão had a boil, a staph on his leg. And he was he wasn't sure if he was going to fight or not. And then I was there as a support. But ended up, he was like, okay, I'm going to fight. No commission, no doctors, who cares? Just tape it. And then he just taped it and he fought. But that was a funny story, And if I was going to fight, I was going to fight under his name.
Oh, okay. And then you hadn't graduated high school at this time. Am I correct?
Yeah, I didn't graduate yet. I graduated after.
So you were like a junior or senior in high school, and Carlson Gracie is going to pick you up and travel out of state so you can fight a grown man. Correct?
Yeah, correct. That was but that was the mindset I was already doing. I was already leaving the sport, And Carlson was I was 17, 18. No, I was 18 at the time, 18. So
okay, that's pretty funny. That's good. Mm-hmm. So your first match on record is Shudo Brazil. Jockey is the guy's name. I know you represented Luta Livre at this time. Your first match, did you know that your entire life at that moment, this is what you were supposed to do?
I knew I knew it, man. Even before the fight, I was already begging to fight. Everywhere with Carson, I was begging to fight. I would fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, And I just wanted so bad. And that's why I got the fight. And that was the first Shoto. That was the first Shoto in Brazil organization. Alexandre Pequeno, who also I trained with. He was a 7-time champion in Shoto. So he brought the event to Brazil and was at his gym. And then we fought there. So I was the second fight ever for Shoto in Brazil.
Then you fight Fernando Caesar. You win by decision. That's July 12th, 2002. So you're fighting, within a month, within 2 weeks of each other. What is going on in your life at this time? Because my records show that you had Boca Oliveira, is with American Top Team. He contacts you about bringing you to the top team. But at that exact same time, your former wrestling coach, Jefferson Teixeira, is trying to pull you to Brazilian top team.
Yeah, man. So just one. Now you
Am I off?
The first two. No, you're right. You're just too good, man. Because the first two fights was between a month from each other. The first two amateurs.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks. I didn't even remember that. I thought it was like a longer. But you see how eager I was to fight. I just want to fight, man. Like if you show up the next day, I would fight again. But yeah, like what happened was I had a friend, Marcos Oliveira, Marcão, that he came to America. We planned to come together, but he just left. I called his house, and his sister called me, like answered the phone, like after I called many times. And she was like, "Oh, that's JZ, right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "JZ, he told me he left to America with you." I was like, "Damn it." And I had no idea. And at that time, we didn't have like a phone to connect. I sent him an email. That was it. So he came first. And then he said, "Man, come to America Top Team." I said, man, like after you left me like that, I'm not sure if I can trust your words, you know? And then I have another friend, Moacir Boca, that was another guy we trained back in the days at Jefferson Teixeira. And then he came to America Top Team. And then I was either going to Brazilian Top Team, or to American Top Team. But what happened was like I saw an article on the Tatami magazine talking about American Top Team, how professional they were, because they used to have salary, support, supplements, all the coaches in one place. Man, when I read that, I was like, what? That's the place. And I saw the picture of my friend who was there. And also has another guy, Juan Carneiro, Jucão.
Dude.
Yeah.
One of the most underappreciated coaches. I think he might be the best coach that nobody knows about in the United States right now. Jucão. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he goes under the American Top Team flag and everybody just praised the main one, you know? And he's in Atlanta. But anyway, I saw the picture of those two guys there. And I know Jucão was in Brazil because I just trained for him that week. And then I was like, man, I like this place. Because in Brazil, I told you, I live far away from everything. You know, I only have my gym close to my house. All the other places I have to go, Carson was like 2 hours away from my house. I would go to Pequeno, like almost 2 hours away as well. Another place to train and rest 1 hour. And everything by bus, train, metro, walking. So it was crazy. My life was like here. I spent so much time on the traffic, you know? And then when I saw that they have everything in one place, Howard Davis was the boxing coach. You have Jason Kelly was the wrestling. Libório at Jiu-Jitsu, you know, the Silveira brother. I was like, man, that's the place. And then I realized, okay, my friend was there, was telling the truth and was a good thing. So I remember Marcel Ferreira came from America Top Team. He was visiting Brazil. We trained. And he said, man, why you didn't come yet? Everybody was expecting you there. Marcão has told me you're going to come. And I said, yeah, but Marcão is crazy. And then I told him the story. He said, yeah, man, you should go. Go fast before they start locking, not accepting more Brazilians. I said,
yeah,
all right. I didn't know Marcel Ferreira so well. So as soon as we finished training, I left. I called Jucão. Jucão, you at home? Yes. Okay, I'm going to stop by. I went to his house. I talked to him. Hey, what's up with this America Top Team thing? I saw your name there. And he was like, yeah, man, that's good. Libório is there. They're going to be like a cousin team from Brazilian Top Team. And Brazilian Top Team at the time was like huge, you know, was in Pride, getting everything. And that's why Jucão didn't go yet, because he was in line to fight in Pride. And I was like, oh, man, if it's that good opportunity, I probably going to make it there. And he was like, man, you should go. It's going to be good for you because you're young. You still have a lot of opportunity. I say, okay. In 2 weeks, man, I pack everything and then I came to America. I came to America Top Team. I saw that I had a little motorcycle. I tried to get some money with my parents. Like they give everything they could. And then that's the guy, Vitor Hugo. There was another Hugo from Brazil. He's the guy who was a blessing in my life. Like he gave me the money. Like I said, yo, because I asked him to borrow the money. He said, you know what, JZ? Hey, take it, go live our dream. It's not just your dream, go live our dream. You have the talent. And then he believed in me, he gave to me, man. I was like, oh, wow.
So the Luta Livre guy gives you money to go train with the American top team.
Yeah, yeah. Just because how he believed, how he trusts. And like I said, us like being a small gym from that place, we didn't care about just too much about the rivalry anymore. You know, that was like a little bit past the time. Like it's no makes no sense. Nobody was winning from that. And that's when he saw me and said, man, go live our dream, you know? And I was like, for sure, man, I will.
Bro, people like that, you should never forget them, man. Never forget them. No. Wow. Well, they don't really do you any favors because your first fight at American Top Team, still an amateur, is June 18, 2003, Hardcore FC. Joe Lauzon is your first opponent. So think of the pressure. You've never been outside of Brazil. You're now training at the American Top Team, and within a year, within about 6 months, they fly you to an opponent out in Boston, and you fight a huge ticket seller who's a savage. Dude, if you lost that fight, oh my God.
Hey, man, do you want to hear more?
Man.
I have to make you wait on the same day for the fight. I had no idea until 10 days before the match. You know, I always cut weight. I came I had the wrestling background as well, so I always cut weight. And I don't know why that fight is counted as an amateur. Because if you see the whole card, is a pro fight. And I know that because was me, Jorge Santiago, and Thiago Alves, Pitbull Alves. We three were fighting the same card. And then 10 days before, they said, oh, they're not going to allow to make the weight the day before. The weight ain't going to be on the same day. And we all freak out. I say, what? No way. How is that possible? You know, we never heard of that in a Vale Tudo, in a MMA. And they say, no. And then Alex David was talking to the guy, I think was, no, not Keep Cool. But so they talked to the promoter and they came back and was, okay, they give 5 pounds allowance, but only for Thiago and Jorge, because Joey Lauzon said no. I was like, damn it, bro. I have to make weight. So I was fasting. I got there. I remember I was in the plane with Dan Lambert went to the fight as well. We flew with his jet. And then I remember I was even eating just sipping the soup because I had so much salt as well. And I say I can't eat. And this soup is full of salt. I cannot do much, you know. So I was sipping a little bit. And I was like, man. And then I remember when I get there, when I saw him, I was so mad. And I saw the little, he was skinny. He's still skinny, but young, you know.
Dork.
Face. I said,
dorky looking.
I say, man, I'm gonna kill this guy, man. I was so mad. I was so angry, you know, because I couldn't eat. I have to cut the extra 5 pounds. Oh man, I'm gonna kill this guy. Man, when I got in the fight, was a war. Was a back and forth all the way to the end. That was crazy. And we can't fight this fight. The first fight, we have the second fight. I fought him again. That was the rematch. But all the pressure on the first one was crazy. And then after I passed it through that, I was like, man, this for real. That shit, I'm made for this shit.
Well, the thing is, too, they flew you from Brazil, get your visa, house you, feed you, you train there, and this is your first test, and the boss goes with to watch.
Watch, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, but do you know how do I get how do I got the trust with the team? Because they didn't want to hire me at first. When I came with to Boca's house, my friend's house. They were kind of, oh, okay, but we have too many Brazilians. It's America top team. And I was just there. I was training. And then Marcelo, Connor's brother, Marcelo Silveira, was the guy that kind of took me under his wing. I said, man, this kid has it, because I would go in the morning with Boca, who teaching the America top team in the morning. So I would go with him and I stay at the gym the whole day until he comes back, because he was teaching in the America top team in the morning. He teaching in Miami. So he would go back at night to pick me up. So I stay at the gym the whole day training, And Marcelo saw that. I would go sleep under the ring, like take naps. And he was like, man, this kid has it, this kid really wants. And then with 3 months of training, they had the fight against because he was a big rival in the South America top team and FFA, Freestyle Fighting Academy.
With the Aurélio brothers. Yes.
Yeah. And then, but back in the day, Avalon
brothers. Oh man, thank you.
Yeah. And then they won one of the fights on the AFC, I believe, Absolute Fight Championship that was here. One fight fell, and they asked somebody to replace. I said, yeah, I mean, and the fight was supposed to be against Jorge Masvidal. And I say, yeah, you would fight him? I say, for sure, let me go. I want to fight him. I want to fight. As I told you, I just want to fight. And they said, and then Libório came. I was there only 3 months, And they said, but they like my attitude. Marcelo especially, he liked my attitude. But he said no, because they didn't want to create more rivalry between the two teams. They didn't fight as much at the AFC event because of that, because it was create too much of rivalry. Only like the bigger names, like a guys that was like ready to go to the UFC, they make a fight. But like on the lower level, they didn't want to do that much. Not to create because when it's too close, you're too close for each other, create a rivalry. It's good to have the rivalry, but not all the time, because that can go bad.
Well,
but that's how I got the trust from them.
So in essence, you're in Brazil, you're traveling 2 hours to go to a gym to work out. You're not just going there for one workout. You're staying in that gym all day. You just did that with American Top Team.
I was living a dream, bro. Like when people ask, like I was living a dream. I said, okay, I have one place that I can do everything. I didn't care everybody. Like you could ask all the guys that, like I would be there training the whole day. I would train a lot, Everybody talk like from the guys when you talk, man. And I say, yeah, first because I was young, I was 20 years old, 21 years old. And it's easy when you're that young to train so much, but was just my mindset. I want to go, I have to do it.
Who did you live with when you first came, to the United States? Mike Brown wasn't with American Top Team at that time.
No, not yet. Yeah, Mike Brown fought the same card on my first fight with Joe Lauzon. Yeah, I lived with Moacir Oliveira, Boca, him and his family, and he had two other guys there that he was helping as well, Thiago Jambo and Petrus Walker. So we live. Boca is amazing. He's another guy I can't thank him enough, because he opened his house with his family, with 2 babies. I stayed there with them. And then soon after, with 3 months, I got hired from the gym. So they let me live at the fighter's house. And then I moved to the fighter's house. And then I started getting the the payroll from the gyms. That helped me a lot as well. Because I came to America, I had no money, bro. I had $100 if that was it.
That's not easy, man. That is not easy at all. And so you rematched Joe Lauzon.
Language.
Yeah, not
even the language. It's crazy.
It's
now
very difficult.
when I look back, it's like, yeah, that's crazy. But when I was young, I was like, okay,
you wanted it. Yeah, you wanted it. So you beat Joe Lauzon again. You've got 4 amateur fights and they turn you professional. The American Top Team, they didn't baby you guys. They if good fights came, cool, but they were throwing you guys wolves Justin Wisniewski is your first opponent. At the time, he's 13-5-1. And Justin Wisniewski of the Doolin Valley Tudo, both of those guys are friggin' savages. Keith and Justin.
I remember. Yeah, Keith and Justin. I remember they were so, like no disrespect, but would you look at them and say, man, those guys are number 5 in everything. You know, they are not very good striker. They are not very good grappler, not good wrestling. Like they are not as good. But man, those guys can fight, bro. They go. That was like, oh man, that's crazy. But luckily, not luckily because I was training there, I was confident in my game. I could finish him easy on the first round.
Not an easy fight though, like because they're tough. They're very durable. Both Wisniewskis.
Yeah.
I think Jorge Santiago fought Keith. I think Thiago Alves may have as well. Yeah.
Yeah, both. I think it was Marcel Ferreira also. I think fought him. Keith.
He fought all of American top team. What was it like training with Marcus Aurélio?
Was good, man. Marcus has a very good grappling game. The jiu-jitsu that he had was amazing. You know, I remember because he was unconventional for playing guard so much, and he has a very good guard. You know, and he was very long, and we fought in the same weight class, so it was very good at the time. I remember coming to America, seeing him, training for him was like a very good, tough guy. Also, he beat Gomi, you know, so you can say.
Yeah, underappreciated. He beat Gomi. You guys were cleaning up Japan, and while doing that, you also, like the American top team, what they would do is they would find promoters all over the country that had good reputations, and they would say, man, we got the B-side. We got the B-side. We want hard fights. They'll fight for free, and we'll fly them out there. So a promoter would make the mistake of putting all of his ticket sellers against the American top team guys, and you guys would just clean house, man. Like you guys would just boo everywhere you went.
Bro, imagine the first fight I had hardcore match when I fought Joy Lauzon was like in a nightclub. Man, that place went crazy, you know. The second one I submitted him, and he was a local guy, you know, so that was crazy. I was even scared to celebrate.
Yeah, yeah. Well, your fourth fight, you got Brad Mahler and Shudo in Evansville. But right after that, you get Joachim Hansen, who doesn't have a big record, but is in the top 10 in the world at that point.
Mm-hmm. He was a former champion on the Shoto. I think he lost to Shaolin, and then I fought him. You know, I think it was right after. And that fight, I was a 10-day notice. I got that fight. I was supposed to compete in a grappling event. I think it was Grappling Quest somewhere. And then that fight fell off. And then they asked me, oh, they have this fight at Shoto in Japan. If I'm not mistaken, I think they asked for Marcus Aurélio to fight. But Marco was already in a contract with somebody. I think that was it. And then they said, oh, we have this kid, 155er, you know, he's like an upcoming. Whatever. I say, yeah. They probably thought, oh, easy fight. I say, man, like I said, I just want to fight. My first year, I made 8 fights. You know?
You got to look at it this way, too. In 14 months of never having left your country, maybe never even imagining leaving your country, you're in the United States, and now you're going from the United States to Japan.
Which was my dream. That was my dream right there. I made my dream. The first year, I made my dream was to fight in Japan, and I'll fight in Shoto. That's right.
So with Joachim Hansen, you take your first loss. How does that register mentally for you?
That was a victory for me. Everybody who watched the fight, man, hey, you won the fight. Oh, man, at least it was a draw. because I would like he would come a hard swing. I would take him down and control. I didn't do much damage. I just hold him, but I hold him like for 3 rounds, man. And like at the last round, there was an inversion. I tried to go for a submission. I tried to go for a heel hook, and then he kept me punch like for the last 10 seconds. But that was the main thing that he had, you know. Besides that, was all like my aggression with the punches and the takedown. No, and, so like after that, that gave me the boost. That was my 4th fight, and I was like, bro, I just fought the champion, you know. Like I didn't take it at all as a loss. So like it just gave me more boost. So was a proof one more time. Okay, I'm here. I'm legit. You know, I can do this. So it was a confirmation of the work.
Brother, the entire world was kind of like, well, they knew Aurélio because Aurélio made some pretty big paydays and was very well known in Japan at that time. But that fight right there, people were like, wait a minute, how deep is this American top team? It surprised everybody, man.
And one thing that you said, because like we are going to all the other places fighting against the guys who was selling tickets, big ticket sales, you know, because we knew we had a good system going on, you know. We had a tough group training together all the time. So that gave the confidence to everyone, like, okay, we can go anywhere and fight anybody.
So Brazil, United States, Japan. Your next fight's in Switzerland against Sebastian Korshiljan. You win that fight. So now, like, you're country hopping. It's pretty wild. The first time I get to see you fight live, November 20, 2004, Ironheart Ground. Future multiple-time UFC veteran Bart Palaszewski is your opponent.
You were there, right?
Man, that's I met crazy, you, bro. Man. Yeah, Carlos Diaz is my guy. So I met Carlos Diaz a few times before. He told me he was going to be at the fight, and it's not too far from me. So yeah, Carlos Diaz introduced us.
Nice. That fight was funny as well, you know. I barely warm up for the fight. I remember it was me, Gigueto. We had like 4 guys fighting on the same card. Me, Gigueto, Thiago Alves, and somebody else, I think. And I was the last one from the American Top Team to fight. So everybody would go. Like the first guy went, when they left, like Gigueto was one of the first fights on the card. And I was later in the card. And then as soon as the 3 guys, Jorge, Libório, they went to corner one guy. So left me and Pitbull. So you stay losing there, but it was a long time. So I was relaxed, chilling. And then George came to me and say, JZ, Libório said for you to start warming up and put your hands. And I was like, man, this early? No, it's okay. Relax. It's okay. Okay, thank you. And then, so he went back. So I like to do yoga. I was like a size young, you know, so as a teenager, I like to do yoga. So I was doing my stretch, my routine, relax. Like 2 fights later, George came again. Hey, JZ, Libório said for you to warm up. And I say, you see, it's a long time already. Like in my mind, I didn't tell him, it's okay, man, it's okay, you still have time. And then he came back and said, Pitbull, you next. And then, okay, when he said Pitbull was next, and then I start like warming up, okay? As soon, like, I don't know what happened. I don't remember how Pitbull fight went, but
well, I can tell you. I can tell you it was very fast and very, very brutal. I mean, it was like under 1 minute. It was under 1 minute. Yeah. He fought Jason. So he fought Jason Chambers. He fought Jason Chambers.
Oh, yeah. Chambers, exactly.
Who's teaching at Renzo Gracie Academy in Southern Florida right now.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, it was Chambers, exactly. And then he came back. As soon as the guy walked back, I see Libório and the guy to walk us to the coach. I had no hand wraps. I had nothing right. I was like, oh. I just put in the gloves. He sprinted 2 sprints on the locker room, on the aisle of the locker room, and I went to the fight. I was like,
no hand wraps.
Like, I told you, no hand wraps. I would just put like I put it like a gauze like this, like a Paulo Filho style, because Paulão used to do that. Only one tape, one one tape here, one tape on the wrist. That's it. One, that's it. And I say, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. Put it here, put it the gloves, sprint, sprint, sprint. That was my warm-up. I warm up. My music was playing. By the time they were calling already, I was like, oh man. But then thanks God, another time where I made a quick work. And then I remember I got to him on the guillotine. I got some, I shoot him, I kick him, and he tried to take the shot, and I finished him on the guillotine.
Well, that was like under a minute and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very quick. You also got to see somebody for the first time that you hadn't seen in a few years, and that was Carlson Gracie.
Yeah, Carlson. And it's crazy because Carlson was there, and then he started screaming, talking shit about like the guy's traitor. It is because like a Libório, the guys Pahumpa, when the guys left, you know, they always like big things with the team. So I didn't talk to Carlson. I didn't talk. I was afraid to talk to him and he started cursing me out, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
him and Libório, I was one of the guys cleaning up. It was Libório, and then it was Conan, and then it was Carlson. And like Carlson knew that Conan wasn't going to do anything. So it was ugly for like 30 minutes.
Carlson was like that, man. He was intense and he started screaming, people like make a big noise, trying to call everybody attention. I said, no, I don't want to do anything with that. And also I stay away from that.
That would only hurt you.
Crazy.
You'd be homeless. You'd be homeless here. Yeah. No, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. He was the man, dude. Carlson Gracie is one of my favorites. So you go from the Hammond Civic Center, historic venue, to Cage Warriors in London, Senzig Dana. Bro, you're like on 5 countries now. And you're about 2 years after having arrived. Does that register to you? Do you get nervous? Does it bother you, or are you just kind of used to it at this point?
Love it. I love it. I was living the dream, you know, like I'm meeting all the places, going to culture, different places. Man, I remember the first time I was in Japan, and then one of the guys offered me a soup, and then I was eating the soup like polite, you know, and then that's one story that I was like to tell because it made me rewire my mind. And then the guy came to me, JC, do you like the soup? Do you like the food? I say, yeah, man, I love it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And he was like, oh, because it doesn't look like you eating with pleasure. And I was like, what you mean? And they go, no, you gotta go. I was like, no, they're not telling me this.
Dude, it's so gross.
Beat up.
It's so gross.
My grandma used to go smack me with the back of the head. Hey, eat quiet, this. And bro, that time, like I was like, wait. So everything that I learned could be like a false somewhere else. You know what I mean? And then I have to like a kind of rewire. So those like interaction with culture making me like think different, you know. So I love it, man. I was living the dream. I still live the dream today, man. Thanks for all the choices that I have done, dude. But
I have to ask you a question, man. And I guess this is one of those where you knew it was coming, but Jeff Monson fought on the same card as you. Please give me your best Jeff Monson story. Please give me I collect Jeff Monson stories.
Okay, Jeff, man. Like we're talking about craziness, you know? Like Jeff is here. The number 1 guy started here. You know, the top 10 started. The top 10 started here from the people that I know. And you know, we're in the middle of the fighting game. It's a lot of crazy people. So Jeff definitely is one of these. You know, he was right here. So on these like has 2 episodes that like pretty like good. I fought. I came back. I won the fight, and then Jeff was walking to the cage. I came back. I was walking for him, and then they stopped to check him for the referee stopped to check him out to go in the cage. Cup, mouthpiece. As soon as he opened the mouth, he was started looking. He saw it, no mouthpiece. If he was in the short, no mouthpiece. He has the cup. Thankfully, 2 heavyweights just fought. The guy who lost came full of blood, dripping, and Jeff came. Yo, have mouthpiece, and the guy went all beat up. He goes on the bucket. He grabs the mouthpiece. No water. He just do this on the short. He does this on the short. Shake it twice. Go back to the ref. I'm ready, bro. I was like, Jeff, bro, we should just throw water, man. Like, what's happening? Like, I had no idea, man. That's how I went. Like, he went to the fight. No mouthpiece. Grab somebody else. Food, like saliva, blood, everything. Put in the mouth and go fight. And then he fought, beat the guy, a tough dude, man. I remember the guy. The guy was the Cage Warriors champion. Crazy match, yeah. And then he goes. And then on the way back, on the event, I have the visa, and I had like a athletic visa, you know. But when I get the stamp, when I get to the airport, they said no, you have to go to Brazil to stamp the visa, and then your visa is allowed to return. You have to stamp the visa in your own country. And I say, what do you mean? Like, I already have the visa, I have the approval, I have the permission to travel. And then the guy said, no, you have to go to Brazil to get stamped on the passport. And like Jeff was with me. And the Jeff started walking side to side. And then he's like, no, this is bullshit. Hey, I'm American. I have the privilege. And he trains with me. He has to travel with me. We came together. We go back together. And the flight, the on the counter, and the lady started getting scared. And she was like, no, sir, can you please calm down? Like, I was just imagine Jeff. And he was like, and then like,
he's about to get naked. He's about to get naked. He's about to get naked.
Just to make an impression. Say, protest. And then he goes, the lady gave him a phone number, you know. So we went to the cabin, and we still have we didn't have a cell phone at the time. So we went to the cabin, and he started like calling the embassy. Nobody picked up on the embassy because it was late, you know. And then, man, he started like hitting the cabin, the phone cabin, and I was like, man. And then I see 3 cops passing, like not but the security, not really the cop, but 3 security guys passing, like, but they didn't do anything, Mike. They just turned the face.
Man, I would too.
One time.
I would too. Smart move.
And then they look back, and then they came back a second time. And then like I went back to the counter, you know, and the lady, she was like, hey, can you please tell your friend to calm down? We don't want to get any trouble. We have to call the police. And then the cop came, but they stay away. They didn't do anything. And that was like that. But Jeff was like fighting for me to go like so hard. And I was like, oh man, I just don't want to get arrested here. He's America. I'm not. You know, if I get arrested, I cannot have anything. I'm not gonna have like a visa, not here, not there. That was crazy. Jeff is amazing, man. But I love him. I have so like good memories with him.
We interviewed Jeff, and I have got a lot of stories, and I hit Jeff with story after story. He agreed and told his point of view, which was the exact thing that the person said word for word. There was no making anything up.
Yeah, and man, and that's one thing I love about Jeff. He's so like truthful. Doesn't matter. He has no shame. Whatever you ask him, whatever, if he did or if he did not, if he ask him, he's gonna say yes, I did that. No, I didn't do that. And that way, like, quiet. yeah, I did that. You know, I love him, the honesty that he has. You know, Mike. One question: where is Lytle? Where is Chris Lytle?
Dude, we travel a lot for BKFC. So that's a fancy way of saying that our wives are furious with us. They're so fucking mad at us. So he's just like, dude, I'm not at the firehouse. If I sit on this, man, I can't go next week. It is what it is, man. I mean, I'm apologizing ahead of time.
I got it. I understand. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. You know.
You just had a newborn,
My
right?
2 kids. Yeah, 6 months now.
Good, man.
6 months now. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Changed, man. Life changed for sure.
Henry Matamoros, you fought him for the Shooto Americas title in Evansville. He's got one of the hardest heads I've ever seen. He's almost unknockoutable.
I remember I said, man, I remember slamming him so bad. The monkey, you know. And that was a good fight for me as well, because he fought Vale Tudo, old school back, you know. He fought Vale Tudo days. And that was a fight for the title in America. And I said, Shooto was one of the best. Yeah, Shooto was one of the best organization, you know, like for a fight, no event, but the organization, because the way they make the rankings, you know, the way they make the people fight was amazing. I really enjoyed the Shooto. That was like one of my dreams. So that's when I fought for the title. That was like a great. And I still talk, maybe I got one more fight for the title in Shooto in Japan. Just to make the dream come true.
When you fought Ryan Schultz in Sport Fight, July 9, 2005, you got a draw that was shocking to everybody. I've never seen the video or the footage, but I know it's Matt Lindland's event, and that's one of Matt Lindland's students.
Yeah. Man, that fight, I can tell like that fight was a big division, you know, because Ryan was super tough, hits hard, good wrestling. Man, I had to dig deep. I remember the last round. I think that's why I got the draw, because it was on the Sports Center show, you know. I got a good takedown, double leg at the end of the round. I took him down, and but it was like a very boosting for me, you know, like having that takedown against a good wrestler, you know, a good up-and-coming guy from the Team Quest. That was good. That was a good fight for sure.
Yeah, you had Fabiano Scherner, one of your friends. He was also on the card. He's got the American top team out in Oregon right now. At this time, I think you're a black belt in Luta Livre, but you also got your brown belt from Libório right after that fight.
Yes. And then I stay a while with the brown belt, because I said, man, I don't want to be one of those guys that has a black belt in jiu-jitsu but doesn't train in gi. And then I started training way more gi with Parrumpa. Libório was like trying to promote for the black belt, and I said, Parrumpa, tell Tulip I don't want the belt now. I wanna at least compete in a good level with gi. Ended up not happening because I left the gym, you know, before I went to the Black Zillions, but that was it, man. But that was a good.
How was training with Mike? Go ahead.
No, it was just like it was good for me because I want to do both. You know, everything I did, I want to compete. I did the wrestling when I was the first time I came to America. I came to Olympic Training Center. I was on the wrestling team from Brazil. I was the first group of a team from Brazil coming to America to train, and that was 2002. Yeah.
Wow.
So and I met Nate Marquardt there back in the days. I remember Babalu was there.
Babalu, dude, savage.
Babalu is one of my inspiration. Babalu was the same gym I started when I started training Luta Livre. The first day was the gym, he was there, you know. And then he said, hey, Corval, the kid is tough, man. And then after we meet on the wrestling team as well, and then in 2002 we went to big team. I think it was like 10 guys from Brazil on the team to go there. And then like Nate and Babalu start training after the class, you know. Like we will see the guys like low kicks because everybody talk about the worst value to the low kicks. So Babalu was show something to Nate. And it's funny now, Nate trains with me a couple of times here in Florida. He's living here now.
Pancrase guy.
Yeah.
What was it like training with Mike Van Arsdale?
Man, Mike was fun, man. He was like he has that the way to teach, but also being fun. You know what I mean? He always has stories, he always telling stories and connecting the things. That was fun, was a fun time. He came down with Rashad. So Rashad brought him in. So Mike gave a good stuff because he had like the fighting mentality as well. But I remember a lot of his stories that he used to tell from the guys from training, making stuff up. So it was good.
Him and Melvin Gillard, they never saw eye to eye in those training rooms.
I don't remember. Yeah.
No? Okay. Milton Vieira.
My brother. Yeah, that's one of the guys. We were the guys from Luta Livre who make the transition between both sports, Jiu-Jitsu and Luta Livre. We were one of the first guys that represent Jiu-Jitsu and Luta Livre at the same time in Brazil. So after that, everybody was kind of cool, Milton with his anaconda choke, so everything he showed the word to everybody, all the chokes was good, man. He's a very good black belt, very good fighter, very good friend of mine as well.
The Luta Livre guys were also concentrating more on leg locks and lower body, where in Jiu-Jitsu that was kind of taboo for a long time. Not anymore, but for a long time. Why do you think that is?
Actually, Milton was one of the guys who never focused on leg locks. He knew how to defend, but he never focused on leg locks. He was like he almost went like against that because he wanted to show more technique. The thing was like a lot of guys, it's hard to pass the guard, right? Passing the guard, it's very hard. And then Jiu-Jitsu guys has a very good guard. And even like in Jiu-Jitsu, you have the points. It's a 2 for takedown, 2 for sweep, but it's 3 for passing the guard. And beside that, mount and so before the most dominant, passing the guard values more. And that's the reason why, because it's very hard to pass somebody who has a good guard. So if it's very hard to pass the guard, what is left to attack? The foot, And that's what we did. A lot of things has a lot of stories that people in Jiu-Jitsu ban leg locks because some of Luta Livre guys would go into tournaments and finish people with leg locks, And that's why in Brazil, everybody would call, that's a cheap shot. Yeah,
garbage.
That's garbage. That's from the guys from this, from ghetto guys. That's a ghetto technique. You guys should stop that. Would people go for the leg locks in Jiu-Jitsu tournament? Everybody start booing. Ooh, that was crazy back in the days. Yeah, would call that was from from the suburbs, the place that I was, and that was crazy. That's why I believe that go away, But now, because it's the sport, I learned that I learned the leg locks from white belt. Luta Livre learn everything from the beginning, And I think that's the way it should be. Because that's the sport, we want to finish it. It's a fight, it's a martial art, especially if you want to fight MMA.
What about Edson Diniz?
Oh man, one of the greatest competitor of all times. Crazy, but very good competitor. I remember being at the gym, he was always good, technical, very good technique. But man, when he put it to compete, was somebody different, He has that competition mindset. I don't know what it was, but he was amazing competitor. I love to watch him competing.
So when you went to the American top team, when you first got here, sometimes there's groups of people that hang out with each other and they're very kind of cliquish. Like they stay in their group, another person stays in that group. Did you have any issues with Hector Lombard?
Yeah, but that was after, Yeah, but I had that issue with him. And the actor has nothing to do with groups, I think it was just like a him under one of the guys. Actor has nothing to do with groups, uh, it is what it is. I don't have much to say about it, But
Yeah.
he just sucker punch. He sucker punched me inside the gym. I want to kill him. I want to do like a street fight, like I said. I'm from Brazil, man. Like I had like a different, different mentality. The place I came from, I saw a lot from early ages, and then I think that gave him a lot of maturity as well. But I remember that the day that happened, I was planning many stuff, like I just waiting and having a couple of the guys, hey, stop, let that go, I remember taking the weight, I was going to outside. I was saying, man, I was going to trash his car and stuff, because I just say, you want to fight, we fight, man. Let us fight. But he just sucker punched me, and then everybody jumping, stop. I said, bro, I don't care. Like, fuck it. He can kill me, but I gonna die
He's gonna
fighting. You know
know.
where I come
Yeah.
from? Yeah, like I don't care. And then like after calm down, cool down, I said, you know what, and that's not worth it. And I don't know, I say that's not worth it because I saw a lot of bad outcomes when you come from that rage as well, So I said, fuck it, let it go.
In 2005, at the very end, you start an incredible run, like one of the greatest runs in the mid 2000s. Michihiro Omigawa, you knock him out in 49 seconds in London. So you're traveling, knocking guy out there.
Again.
May 3rd, you go back to Japan. It's the opening round of the Heroes Grand Prix. You knock out Hidetaka. Was it Manma, Hidetaka Manma. You knock him out in 2 minutes, 50 seconds. That guy at that time was somebody that was one of the favorites to win the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You return for the quarterfinals. Takaya, flying knee, 30 seconds. Brother, what the fuck is going on? It's all Japanese guys. It's like you figured their system out. Man,
and the two things, like one with Nishihiro Migawa was in cage rage. I think was like some stuff it happens in your life, you kind of have a bad taste and then you turn it to a good thing. That's what happened on that fight because they announced that fight. Nishihiro Migawa fought Aaron Riley, I think, on the Pride, and then they brought him out of the event. I said, let's do cage rage so he can get more experience, and then they put it to fighting. So Pride announced Sasaki Bara, people from the cage rage, they announced their fight as a trials for the Pride, the main Pride, and for the Bushido. And I was like, yeah, I knocked the guy out. As soon as I walked down, I remember Sasaki Bara, the one of the owners, the president, whatever, right, and Motoko that was translated, they came back to me, oh, very good, very good. That was nice, awesome. But you gotta wait a little bit more because we have a couple guys in line. And like you have, she even mentioned like a Milton Vieira, oh, you have a couple guys that is in line and now they'll come in. And I was like, what? No, you can't, like, are you serious? You announce it, it's not like I'm not making up anything. You guys posted, you guys say that there was like a trial. Like, what are you doing? And then, you know what? I say, all right, okay, I just gonna keep fighting, but that gave him a bad taste. And I remember when I went back, then K1 called Dan to ask you to fight. I think it was Marcus, they asked for Marcus Aurélio. Marcus Aurélio had submitted Gomi. And then they were trying to get Gomi, Marcus Aurélio to go to the K1 tournament. And then they said, yo, Marcus Aurélio has a contract already. He cannot fight. But we have this kid here, this upcoming kid that's doing good. So let's put him. And then they asked me to go. I say, oh. And then I say, okay, man, I'm fighting in Japan against the Pride, like a rival, because the K1 Heroes, the tournament was the rival. And then say, okay, I'm going to show what's up. I'm gonna show what they missing, you know. And that's what I went. And it's funny on the tournament, I beat everyone on the tournament. The 4 fights that I had, I beat all of the opponents on their strength. Hidetaka Moma, he had a draw with Rodrigo Gracie, I think was a middleweight, because he was a middleweight guy. He dropped down to lightweight. And then if you watch the fight, I overpower him, you know. And then the next fight was Takaya, right? Yeah, Takaya. Takaya was the best striker on the tournament. I knocked him out.
With a flying knee. In Micho, in that Omigawa, when he fought Aaron Riley, he was like arguably in the top 5 in the world. Aaron Riley head kick knocked out. Absolutely probably the highlight of his entire career, but it was looked at as a mistake. No, man. This guy's is real. And you're finishing, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like I said, that's why it got me like, okay, I gotta do more. I'm gonna do more. I just did more and more, you know. And then I finished Takaya, and then I had Hani Yahya on the semifinals. There was 2 fights on the same night.
Wait. Hani Yahya, 2005 silver medalist at ADCC. 2007, he wins gold. You get him October 9, 2006, Hero 7. You beat him with a guillotine. You finished him.
Yep.
With a submission.
The best grappler in the tournament. I finished the best grappler in the tournament, you know. That was like I was in a row, man. That was the vibe. I wasn't planning. I was just like on the flow. I was on the flow, okay, whatever happens. I was so confident that the training that I had, like Wali, there was Muhammad Wali was the striking coach. Andre Benkei was like the strength and conditioning coach that helped me out a lot as well, to believe in my condition, you know. And I knew when I went to the fights, I knew I could push, I could go. Pahumpa also was a good coach, Libório, with the grappling. So I was just that confident to go, you know. And then at the finals,
Kauno.
Yeah. And I broke my hand on the first. That's why I say, I beat him with the experience that I did not have as much, because I broke my hand on the first round, and then I managed to go through, still beat him. And I remember because at the end of the finals, you know, at the second round was 2 rounds. If you win the 2 rounds, or if it was a draw, we had the extra round. But I completely dominated him. Even people thought it was a TKO, because on the last of the finishing the fight, I was mounted on his back and I was ground and pounding him, you know. And then the time finished, and then I went back to raise the hand. When they announced one judge announced I was the winner. The other one said it was a draw, bro. And I had a broken hand. The guy said it was a draw. So I was zoned out. I was still focused. I was and I'm here, you know. They raised my hand, but I didn't move. I didn't do anything. I was just in the zone. And I remember because George Santiago, if you watch the tape, he comes running like a monkey, yeah. And he does 2-3 hops, trying close to me. He stops. He looked back to see if people are celebrating, because I didn't move. You know, he didn't realize. I didn't realize I won, you know. He knew, he was just celebrating, but I had no reaction. I was just like this. He stopped, looked back, and he saw, no, it's true. And then he comes back and starts hugging me again. You know? Oh my God.
You
but
two,
I was just
you and Jorge Santiago, initially it seemed like you guys had probably one of the closest relationships on the team.
Yeah. We lived together, the same house. When the fighter's house was 9 guys in the 3 bedroom, you know, house. We would pass by each other. The first year they were there, we would pass by each other, just what's up? And then after a while, the crazy friend that came to America first, Marcos, we start hanging out with Pitbull and George more, and he was one of my best friends. And then I started joining, talking to them, and man, Jorge and I, when the two guys are very similar with the personality, they kind of don't get along just because of that. And he was way more quiet than me. I'm more talkative, but he's very introspective. But I'm always like, if you don't talk to me, I have my own way. I don't, okay. And he would say, man, this kid is so cocky. Like, look, so arrogant. And I said, why? I didn't do anything. And then after we start talking, we start to understand each other. Man, it's my brother. Until today, he's my brother. He's my big brother. I'm the godfather of his daughter. So I have a good, very good relationship with him.
Did you get along with Din Thomas?
Dean Thomas, yeah. He gave me the nickname, JZ. Yeah. Dean Thomas was also one of the guys I used to watch in Brazil. Before I came, he was in the UFC when he was him, BJ, Matt. So there was 4 guys that I used to watch them man.
Not only did you win that, you also won the second tournament. Victor Ribeiro, Andre Amade. Dude, man, brother, it's incredible. What advice would you give to the people in your same shoes in Brazil right now, man?
Believe what you have, But the last tournament also was important, because I jumped straight to the semifinals.
You're the champion, so you get right to the semifinals, which is how it should be.
Yeah. I went straight to the semifinals. And one thing that was very good also, I fought Masato in between that. That was the K1 legend. I fought him in the kickboxing, in the K1 rules. And that was very important for me as well, especially in Japan. Masato is one of the best ever in kickboxing, K1 rules.
Oh, yeah.
And on the lightweight. And that was my first pro fight. I never had fought a pro in kickbox. I fought when I was 15, 16. I fought some tournament in Brazil as a kickboxing, but a European style, light contact. And that was my first pro fight. And I went to the distance with him, and that was an eye-opener.
Man, I watched that fight. You can tell somebody's grit when they're losing or they're having issues and what happens during that time. That's when you know what somebody's made of. That's what that fight is for you.
Yeah. And that's because I fought, I fought 3 weeks before I fought Nanfan in K1 Dynamite. And 3 weeks later, I fought Masato. And that was my strategy as well. I said, look, I want to fight K1 Dynamite. I want to be the first, a fight in K1 Dynamite, because I thought they were going to be big here, And I told them I want to be the first K1 Dynamite fight in America. So I was the first fight. I want to make history here, and you guys want to come back. You're going to be in the card. I want to make the history here. And then ended up there was just one event. And then I finished Nanfan a PKO him.
Bro, it was like watching a man fight a child. In Nanfan, he's got some legendary fights, and he's known for his chin, like his Leonard Garcia fights. Dude, so Hall of Fame worthy. Yeah. Hall of Fame worthy. And you punched a hole in his head.
Yeah. And that was the ground and pound the bank used to do for us, the working. I work a lot of the ground and pound as well.
You missed weight too.
No, I didn't. There was a mistake on the commission. Everybody, I was the first fight, so I was the first one to weigh, and they said I was 4 pounds over. I said, yo, that scale is wrong. And the 3 guys after, they had the same problem. So they went back and they adjusted the scale, and they gave it the allowance. But because I was the first one to weigh, they never took that out. So that was a mistake from the commission. They had the wrong on the scale, and I hate that.
Did they take the $9,000 from you?
No, they didn't do it. They don't do anything.
Okay.
And also later they screw me up, because after the weighing, I said, no, I made the weight and everything. And they said, oh, we're going to check. We're going to check. I say, look, everybody's missing weight. That's not right. And then they adjust, but they never went back because I was one of the first one. Like, I think Nanfan was like a lighter, I don't know. And then they said, okay, you got to do the test now. I say, bro, how? I just made the weight. How do you want me to do a pit test now? And then they took me to the hotel room, gave me the cup. I said, man, I cannot pee. I was dehydrated. I cut I used to cut a lot of weight, like a 20 pounds at least, like a 17 pounds. And then I was like drinking water. Nothing would come because I just made weight. And then I threw up. I threw all the water away. And now the commission is like, oh, okay, sorry, yes, I see. Do me a favor. Go to your room. 10 o'clock is good. 10 o'clock, we're going to stop by, and then you collect your urine. I said, man, bro, I want to punch them so bad, man. I want to punch. That's before the fight, And I was like, what the hell is going on here, man?
It's Armando Garcia.
So mad.
Armando
I was
Garcia.
so mad.
Yeah, he did everything he could. He did it. He works for the UFC right now. He's in charge of their security for one of their casinos. Like he was working from then, and he's working from now. So yeah. Wow.
That was crazy.
That
was it. Then,
your second world title too. Ribeiro, 35-second KO. Amade, 448. You finished him too.
Yeah. And that was a true the tough fight, because Shaolin was a Vitor Ribeiro. Shaolin was one of the best names there.
Huge
and it
name.
was and because of Luta Livre and Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil, man, people were going crazy with that fight. That was the fight, for the lightweight at that time, it was the fight of or that time or that era, And especially a lot of high perform the guys from the Luta Livre because they want me to represent. And I say, yeah, so that was good, man. Unfortunately, he broke the orbiter, I almost get a blind after that. Was bad. Yeah. That's why after took so long for him to recover.
Because you were supposed to be on season 2 of Bellator, but instead you chose to go to Dream as well. Did you remember having talks with Bjorn Rebney?
Yeah, I remember talking to him, but I don't remember, something was weird, and I didn't, they were in Miami. They were local, so I saw one of the first event they had. And then I was like, oh, cool. But then I don't remember what I went to, what happened, But then maybe probably was a not good offer.
No. And
because I was making good money in Japan.
No, you were making very good money, but you were also fighting the best outside of the UFC. And people would argue at that time, the better fighters were fighting in Japan. That's for sure. For sure. Brother, you got your kid with you, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let me tell you something, JZ. I got a world of respect for you, brother. World of respect
Thank
for you.
Bro.
Why don't we...
If he's not bothered, we can keep the talk.
Oh, you good? You sure?
Noise, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Are you good, Isaac? Are you good? Okay,
so
good.
You had all of this glory, all of the fame right now. The whole world is talking about you. And then you hit you have issues. It started with Shinya Aoki.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the first fight with Aoki?
Definitely, because that fight was supposed to happen on the New Year's event the prior year. On 2008, 2007 was supposed to be 2007 to 2008. I was supposed to fight him on the end of the year show, the Dynamite show. What happened was, before the second tournament, I blew my knee on the last training. A week before, I blew my knee. Everybody at the gym was crazy, man. one that happened like was the last training. Well, I remember Saturday, I finished training. I sat down with Pahumpa on the mat. I look at him. I said, "Man, I'm tired, but I'm feeling good. You know, I'm gonna win this." And then Jason Kelly and Jonathan Brooks walk in. They come like a wrestling to drill, and I say, "Oh man, that's good. I'm gonna drill with them." And Pahupa look at me. I say, "JZ, you just said you're tired, man. Go home, go rest." I say, "No, it's okay, it's okay. I'm good. It's gonna be good for me to do some drills. Wrestling drills gonna be important because I knew Shaolin has a very good wrestling as well." I said, "No, gonna be good for me. I need that." And then I went to do some drills. With drilling, it start to escalate, and then Jonathan Brooks have like my leg high. I'm flexible, so my leg was high, so I tried to kick it down. As I kick it down, he pulled it up, so my knee went like, and ta! Everybody heard the noise and me screaming. Ta! Oh, wow, bro! The gym went quiet, like quiet. Everybody was that shocked, you know. Everybody was quiet, and then everybody started coming. Hey, what happened? And then I said, 1, 2, 3. Everybody was surrounding me. I said, "Thank you." And I start getting anxious, you know, because I start thinking about the fight. People talking like, "Oh, take it to the doctor, do this, do that." I said, "Benkei, please take everybody out of here, please." I'm getting nervous. And then I look, he started, "Guys, please give us some space, give us some space." I say, "Look," I look at him. I say, "Bank, I'm fighting. Not going to the doctor. I'm gonna go home. I don't wanna hear anything. Don't tell everybody not to call me, not to say anything. I'm staying." And then he was like, "Okay, I'm fighting." And then I went and I stay home, and then I went like to the event, you know. And then I fought. I had like a bad knee. My ligament was out. I also had the staph infection on my shin on the same. That's why if you see the event, like I had 2 wraps, one on my shin and one on my knee, you know. And then and then I won the tournament, and then they booked the fight for the New Year's Eve. And I say, "Okay, good." But then I had to get the surgery. So I did the surgery. The first surgery I did, I only did the meniscus because I was still trying to fight at the end of the year. And then the doctor said, "Man, you need the ACL repair." And I said, "Okay, but let me try to go, you know. Let me try to get one." Like I said, one more fight because I knew it would take 8 months. I said, "No, one more fight, one more fight." Ended up didn't go, but I went to the event. I went to the Dynamite to promote the fight, and then they were trying to push me to fight for real. And I said, "Man," I said, "No," I can't fight. I can't fight like that. Like that. And then was like, "No, oh, we give a bonus, 2 bonus, one from Pride and one from K1." I say, "I don't want to hear how much is the bonus. I don't care. I need my body to fight." Man, I start getting mad, Mike. I say, "Yo," I told the promoter, "Yo, tell those guys to get the fuck out." Like, no, okay. And then I punched the table and I walk outside. Everybody kind of like scared, you know, like, what's happening. I was scared as well. I don't know what was the deal with them, but they were really trying to push me to fight. And I said no. So I ended up not fighting, and then I went to the tournament, and then I fought Aoki, but I was in a good condition. But the first fight I was winning, and then ended up being a no contest. And then I was like, "Oh fuck." They
From
asked
an
me to
elbow.
stay there. Yeah, with the elbow, but it wasn't on the neck. The elbow was on the back, but and then they asked me to stay there because I fractured his orbital with the heels on the face. They asked me to stay to replace him because he wasn't going to be able to fight on the second round. And then it was a big decision, but I was like, "Man, my knee is not good. I can't do this, you know." And then I ended up like pulling out, and then they postponed it. And then the second fight happened. That was the second fight. So there was crazy stories, crazy stuff in Japan as well.
You hit you were injured and out after the second one for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
You come back, you don't lose. That's the one thing you say about Jay-Z. You're a winner. Like, you want to win at everything. Kawajiri, you lose a decision. Kikuno, you win a split decision. You don't win split decisions. You finish. Josh Thompson, lose a decision. Justin Wilcox, no contest eye poke. Was your head fucked at this time? Because
what happened, like I was just so anxious to go back to the top. And that was one thing. I remember George came to me. George didn't talk much, but all the time, like he said one phrase that would summarize everything, you know? And I remember one day I kick and I hurt my foot. And then he was like, "Oh, you got hurt?" "Yes." "So what are you gonna do now? You're gonna kick again? You don't accept your body to feel hurt. You don't accept your body to break." And then I was like, man, when he said that, was a punch in the face, right? You know, like I was like, oh shit, man. That's like because that's what happened. Like after I had the injury, took me a while to get back, and I was forcing. You know, I kind of didn't accept my body to break, and that's why the anxiety just to go back was everything I was trying to do was too early, just to trying to get to the top, you know. And I didn't have like the guidance to say, "Oh, don't fight, man. Take a break. Like you cool now, relax. Take a, you know, take your time and recover." But because I did that before, people also didn't have the confidence because, you know, like I fought with blown knee. I won the first title with the broken hand. So people knew I was capable of, you know, so nobody had the confidence to say, "Jay-Z, don't do this. You can't do this right now. Do later. Go fight, go recover, and then go." You know, so that was my fault as well because I was trying to push so much. I was trying to get it back.
You also got to look at it this way. You never made the news doing stupid shit. While you were at American Top Team, certain people did. You lived a clean lifestyle. Like you were never involved in any drama that you created.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an easy thing to do, especially in a fight game.
And early, and I was young too, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Yes, you were young. All right. You're at Fight Sport now, correct?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we talk about what you're doing?
Now I have the Fight Sports Deerfield Beach. After I left the American Top Team, you know, we went to the Black Zillions. With me, Rashad, the Villefort brothers, and Santiago, we start the team together. Then Glenn Robson invest the money, and then we became one of the biggest team in the world as well. And then after a while was another split on the team. And then when that happened, I didn't want to go choose a side, you know, pick the side because Henry was leaving with some of the guys from Glenn. I said, "Glenn, I'm staying. Whatever happens, happens. I'm here." I was tired of, you know, because when I left American Top Team was also some drama there. Not that I created, but I just like, okay, I'm out. I'm the guy that I like my life, like I said, I didn't have
Simple.
the news, I didn't make it. I like my life simple, do not make my stuff, be happy, train hard, and that's it. And that was my mentality, you know. So after that, I kind of get that taste. And in that time, I met Daniel Mendes, who was a striking coach for Vitor Belfort. And then the first time we trained, it was like the time we met at the gym, actually I was at the beach. He was helping one of the trainers, you know, for the striking, hitting pads. And then we hitting pads. I hit pads with him, was a circuit with all of the guys. It was me, Vitor, Anthony Johnson, Abel, Michael, a bunch of good guys on the beach, you know. And then we hit pads, man. And then after the training was done, I say, "Yo, man, you hold the pads like my old coach." It's amazing the connection that we had. And then I said, "Oh, we're making jokes. We fell in love on the first pads, you know." Was like a first sight, was at the first pads. And then after that, we started to create a good relationship. And then when the team split, he was teaching Muay Thai at one place that was close to my house. The Black Zillions came to teach at the same place. And then when Black Zilla was splitting, I said, man, I'm gonna keep my guys because I was doing like a program with the grappling as well for the Black Zilla. I say, I'm gonna stay with my guys here. I'm tired of this. What do you think about like we putting the team together? I say, oh yeah, if you wanna do it for sure. You have the striking, I have the grappling. That's great. And then we start doing that. At first they were calling the team JZ MMA because I had some of the amateurs that was like, oh JZ. And like what I put it now. I said, I didn't say anything when I saw on the one day on the tournament on the amateur show, they put JZ MMA. And I said, okay. But that was never the name. And then at the same time, I started training more grappling because I used to go to the fight sports in Miami with a cyborg because Alexandre Pulga was a friend of mine. He used to be at the Black Hills as well. We would go there. So I was going there like once a week to do a good grappling training because they have amazing team, amazing grapplers there. And then Wagner Rocha started going like, yo, bro, I'm going to fight a super fight, like a professional grappling. I say, yeah, professional grappling, is that a thing now? You guys are making money? He was like, man, I'm making more money because Wagner never did like a huge, but he fought the UFC, but he said, man, I'm making more money now in grappling than I did with my MMA career. And I said, hold on, let me see this thing. And then he asked me to start training, helping him. He was going to fight Vinicinho, another guy that was short, a good guillotine. And I said, yeah, for sure, come and help. And then I started helping him more. And then like I just started getting more involved with grappling, you know. And I wasn't training as much MMA because I was focused more in coaching. And that's why like I became a fight sport. When I said, man, I'm gonna turn the team, I'm gonna say, I wanna be with the grappling, I wanna compete more. That's why I went back competing more no gi now, jiu-jitsu no gi. I fought a lot of fight to win. I had the good matches. And still now I just hold back a little bit because of the babies. But just because they brought me in, Cyborg is like a super nice guy, you know, open heart, like open with everything, is very good technique. The training with everybody goes hard, but they go along with each other. You know, so I said, man, I'm gonna make a fight sports. And then he was like, yeah, for sure, man. And then I made the fight sport here for the beach here. So people come in South of Florida and have a place to train.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stop by probably in about 2 weeks. I'm going to have some comp tickets for you guys for the upcoming bare knuckle fight. You can give them away to your team, complimentary of us. So if you guys want to go see your bare knuckle, definitely go stop by his gym. Let me throw a couple names before we go. Ricardo Libório.
Man, he did a very good thing with the team and brought like the culture here now in Florida because of him as well.
Howard Davis.
It was my daddy. I lived with him. Yeah, when I moved here, we lived together on the second house. When I moved to one of the fighters' house, we used to live there. And I came to America. I was going to say my goal was like to train in wrestling to represent wrestling in Brazil. You know, I would train here, I represent Brazil on the team. But Florida wrestling is not as good. You know, has no culture of wrestling here. And then I was like, holy shit, what is the wrestling? Because I thought it was the whole America, you know. And I say, well, they have no wrestling, but they have boxing. Howard is like a Olympic champion. Man, I was like all day with him. I would come and training, like I start connecting with him and he start connect with me and we live together in the same apartment. So he became like my daddy. I would call him.
With no English, you guys communicated.
Yeah, connect. Yeah, exactly. And Daya, his son, used to live with us as well. He became a well fighter as well. So it was good, man.
You mentioned his name earlier. You cornered him in World Series of Fighting. Anthony Johnson.
Man, sad to see goals like that, you know, so early, but a beast. I would call him the steel because he looks like a piece of steel, you know. He bend, but he'll never break. Unfortunately, it has to go, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it surprised everybody, man. Surprised everybody.
Yeah.
All that weight cutting Like, the guy cut like an entire human being every single time, when he either made weight or just missed.
And then later, it's like the lifestyle, even that he moved up weight to class, but it's hard. Like if you don't have like a good lifestyle, gets you. Same happened with Glenn Robinson. That was like the manager of the team. Too much stress, it's the lifestyle. That's why I appreciate a lot what I have with the fighting, because it's not just about fighting, but the lifestyle that I get from keeping me sharp.
JZ, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, brother. Thank you so much. I know it took us a little time to put this thing together, man. I got the utmost respect for you, and I look forward to seeing you in person.
Thanks, Mike. I will be more than welcome here. See you soon, my man.
Good. Take care, brother.
All right. Take care.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.